Dust rises with the rhythm of hooves as a rider enters a bustling caravan market. Bells jingle. Spice smoke threads the morning air, a backdrop to the haggling of a dozen tongues. Weeks later, she passes the same stalls, now eerily silent. A plague, the Black Death, has swept through, leaving only ghosts. This interconnected world did not appear overnight. It began with a seed. When humanity learned to farm, we learned to stay. Along the Tigris and Euphrates, granaries grew into neighborhoods, and neighborhoods into cities. Stored grain required counting marks. Memory required a script. Order required laws. On the banks of the Nile, the Indus, and the Yellow River, writing and belief anchored the first great states. Soon, vast empires and new world religions wove strangers together into shared maps of meaning. Across the Silk Roads, the Indian Ocean, and Saharan sands, goods and ideas flowed. A single glass bead might travel from a coastal port to a desert caravanserai, changing hands and languages with every mile. Trust itself became a technology, and cities became knots in a widening global net. Under Mongol security, this circulation quickened. But in the 14th century, the channels that carried silk and stories also carried death. The Black Death fractured families and forced survivors to rethink what truly had value. From this crisis, a new world began to stir, in the glowing pigments of Italian workshops and in the minds of Iberian mariners steering by the stars into the unknown. Their ships arrived on tropical shores, unloading seeds, animals, and invisible stowaways. The Columbian Exchange rewired the planet's biology, reshaping diets and ecosystems forever. But it also unleashed unprecedented devastation. Early modern empires were built on mountains of silver and coasts of sugar, wealth extracted through the brutal system of Atlantic slavery. Today, our own supply chains, pandemics, and online forums are echoes of these first global linkages. To understand our present, we must first understand their past. Centuries later, in a cramped Paris shop, presses thrummed. A descendant of our writer, her fingers stained with ink, stacks pamphlets still warm from the press. The murmurs of the street are swelling into chants. The scientific revolution and the Enlightenment had armed humanity with a new vocabulary of reason, of rights, of revolution. In 1789 and beyond, these ideas leaped from salons into law, toppling old regimes and forging new nations. But another revolution was already underway, one of coal and steam. This was the new heartbeat of the industrial age. Factories drew millions into smoky cities, their lives governed not by the seasons, but by the factory whistle. A single railway through Bengal could connect a remote farm to a financer in London. But who truly commanded these connections? The empire with its cannons, or the workers who were learning to strike? Industrial power fueled both conquest and resistance across the globe, setting the stage for a century of conflict. Then the guns of the 20th century spoke. 2 world wars shattered empires, gave birth to the United Nations, and cleared the path for decolonization. As new flags rose, a Cold War divided the planet, yet paradoxically connected it ever more tightly through global trade and media. Now the digital revolution shapes everything from public health to our climate response. It promises cures through genome editing, yet revives ancient ethical puzzles. These debates are new, but their patterns are old, echoing through time from ancient caravans to undersea cables. The story of our connected world is still being written.